Did you know Nelson Mandela wasn't even his real name? He was born Rolihlahla Mandela, a name that foreshadowed a life of troublemaking. This is the story of the man behind the myth, the complexities and contradictions that forged one of history's most iconic figures. Born on July 18, 1918, in the small village of Mvizo in the Eastern Cape of South Africa, Rolihlahla was destined for a life intertwined with the traditions and struggles of the Tembu people. His father, Nkosi Gadle Mandela, served as a principal counselor to the acting king, planting seeds of leadership in young Rolihlahla from his earliest days. The name Nelson was later bestowed upon him by a teacher, a common practice in colonial South Africa. But it was the ancestral clan name, Madiba, that became a symbol of respect and endearment, a connection to his roots that he carried throughout his life. Mandela's path was far from preordained. He received his early education at a local missionary school, where he excelled academically. But his life took a pivotal turn when he enrolled at the University of Fort Hare, the only higher education institution for Black Africans at the time, where he became involved in student politics and was eventually expelled for his activism. This marked the beginning of his formal entry into the struggle against apartheid. In August 1952, Mandela, along with Oliver Tambo, established Mandela and Tambo, South Africa's first black-owned law firm. It was a defiant act of self-determination in a system designed to oppress them. The firm provided legal assistance to countless victims of apartheid laws, solidifying Mandela's reputation as a champion of the oppressed. But Mandela's commitment to justice went beyond the courtroom. The escalating brutality of the apartheid regime forced him to confront the limits of peaceful resistance. After the Sharpeville massacre in 1960, where police killed 69 unarmed black protesters, Mandela became convinced that armed struggle was necessary. This led to the formation of Umkhonto we Sizwe, the armed wing of the ANC, with Mandela as one of its key leaders. Umkhonto we Sizwe, Spear of the Nation in Zulu and Xhosa, launched a campaign of sabotage against government infrastructure, targeting symbols of apartheid rather than human lives. This decision remains controversial, challenging the simplified image of Mandela as a purely nonviolent leader. In 1964, Mandela and several other ANC leaders were arrested and charged with sabotage, conspiracy, and other offenses in the Rivonia trial. His powerful courtroom speech, where he declared his willingness to die for a democratic and equal South Africa, became a defining moment in the anti-apartheid movement. He was sentenced to life imprisonment and spent the next 27 years behind bars. Robben Island, a notorious prison off the coast of Cape Town, became Mandela's primary prison. He endured harsh conditions, backbreaking labor, and relentless attempts to break his spirit. Yet, he remained unbroken, becoming a symbol of resistance for prisoners and activists worldwide. During his imprisonment, Mandela received visits from family members, but these were carefully monitored and often deeply painful. Letters were censored, and communication with the outside world was severely restricted. Despite the isolation, Mandela continued to strategize and communicate with ANC leaders, maintaining his central role in the struggle. The international pressure on South Africa to end apartheid continued to mount. In the late 1980s, facing increasing economic sanctions and internal unrest, the government began to explore negotiations with Mandela. Secret meetings were held, laying the groundwork for his eventual release. On February 11, 1990, Nelson Mandela walked free from Victor Verster prison, a moment broadcast around the world. His release marked a turning point in South African history, signaling the imminent end of apartheid. Mandela immediately resumed his leadership role in the ANC, working alongside F.W. de Klerk, the then president of South Africa, to negotiate a peaceful transition to a multiracial democracy. These negotiations were fraught with challenges, including violence from right-wing extremists and internal divisions within the ANC. But Mandela's unwavering commitment to reconciliation and his ability to find common ground with his former oppressors proved crucial. In 1993, Mandela and de Klerk were jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for their work in ending apartheid. The award recognized not only their individual contributions but also the collective efforts of countless South Africans who had fought for freedom and equality. On April 27, 1994, South Africa held its first democratic election, where all citizens, regardless of race, were allowed to vote. Mandela cast his ballot for the first time in his life, a symbolic act of liberation and empowerment. On May 10, 1994, Nelson Mandela was inaugurated as the first black president of South Africa. His presidency was marked by a commitment to national reconciliation, social justice, and economic empowerment. He established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, led by Archbishop Desmond Tutu, to investigate human rights abuses committed during the Apartheid era. This process, while controversial, aimed to promote healing and understanding rather than retribution. Mandela stepped down as president in 1999 after serving one term, setting an example for democratic leadership in a continent often plagued by authoritarianism. He continued to advocate for peace, justice, and human rights through the Nelson Mandela Foundation and other organizations. In 1998, on his 80th birthday, Mandela married Graca Machel, a Mozambican politician and international advocate for women and children's rights. Their marriage symbolized the spirit of Pan-Africanism and unity. Nelson Mandela died on December 5, 2013, at the age of 95. His death was mourned around the world, but his legacy lives on. He is remembered not only as a political leader but also as a symbol of hope, resilience, and forgiveness. However, the full picture of Mandela's legacy requires acknowledging complex truths. He supported armed struggle when peaceful means failed. Western powers initially viewed him with suspicion due to Cold War politics. And while he achieved political liberation, economic inequality persists in South Africa today. Mandela's story reminds us that even the most iconic figures are complex individuals shaped by their time. His life was a testament to the power of courage, conviction, and the enduring pursuit of justice. What part of Mandela's journey do you find most inspiring or thought-provoking?